To a jam-packed Evan and Tiki. It's so jam-packed I wrote everything down because there's that much going on this Tuesday in September. At 5 o'clock today, whether he likes it or not, Tiki Barber takes his L. He has to wear an L, and you'll all hear why. Coming up in the next hour, Sean Morash is debuting his new hit single. He created a song all by himself, no AI. He performed it. It was produced. I don't even know what it's about, but he guaranteed us it's going to be amazing. And he's doing it in honor of Al Dukes, who used to create music all the time for Boomer and Carton, and then Al got lazy.
I'm so proud of you, Sean.
Yes.
You're like growing up over here.
For a day. Let's see if it's any good. That's coming up in the next hour. Joe Beningo will join us at 4 o'clock. And very, very soon, Met fans, we address if you should be legitimately concerned that they're going to miss the playoffs. But I want to walk you through some thoughts I had last night. Make believe I'm John Mara, and I want everyone in the audience to make believe you're John Mara. Okay? You're the owner of the New York Football Giants. You hired people to do their jobs. Mm-hmm. You're not interfering with day-to-day decisions. You're letting them do their job, but you want to see results. If you are John Mara and you're sitting back and you're watching Monday Night Football Week 1 and you're thinking about what happened on Sunday, here's what I would need to know from Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. Number one, you passed on J.J. McCarthy. You think he stinks, right? Now, J.J. McCarthy for 3 quarters didn't look great.
I would say he stunk for 3 quarters.
But you know what he did? He became the first starting quarterback since Steve Young in 1985 in his debut to make a comeback of 10 points or more in his first NFL start.
Yeah, but he needed that because he was so bad early.
Okay.
So I'm just laying out the facts they exist.
I get the facts. In his NFL debut, he orchestrated a 10-point comeback. If Jackson Dart does that, we'll have a parade. So, number one, if I am John Mara, I am thinking to myself, let me write this down. The next time I talk to Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, I want to ask them, what the hell did you not see in J.J. McCarthy? That's number one.
You can't do that.
I will.
Okay, keep going.
Number two.
That's a pure fan response. We know John Mara's a fan, like a lot of people are, but you can't ask him that question. But continue. I'll allow it.
Number two. I would say to Brian Daboll specifically, I'm looking around at week 1. I saw the Bears scored more points than you. The Vikings scored more points than you. Every team in the NFL scored more points than you. Why? You're an innovative offensive genius. You have Russell Wilson at quarterback. You have Malik Neighbors at wide receivers. I want you to walk me through, Coach, how in week 1, every NFL team scored more points than you. The third thing I'd bring up, and you're not going to like this, Teak, is I'd bring up Saquon again. I'd say, oh, yeah, look, I see what happened. He went to Philadelphia, and he's freaking Jim Brown on steroids. That's number 4. Oh, I'm up to number 4. Then I'd bring up Daniel Jones and say, walk me through this one, guys. Daniel Jones was an incompetent mess here. And in his first game in Indianapolis, and I get you went through the tape, Teak, they still watched him orchestrate an offense that dropped 33 points.
Yeah.
Then I'd bring up Sterling Shepard.
He looked competent.
And say, how's he doing in Tampa? Like, if I'm John Mara and it's 1 week, and no one's firing anybody after 1 week, but all of these little nuggets, all of these little notes, they would add up, and they would infuriate me if I ran the New York Giants, and I would ask Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll in a very firm voice, explain all of that.
Yeah. The easiest answer is that we're a young team, and we're getting ourselves up to speed, so to speak. And we can't control what other teams are doing. The Miami Dolphins are a disaster. Yes, they scored 2 more points than we did, but it was a mitigated disaster down there in Indianapolis against the Indianapolis Colts. And that's why Daniel Jones had the day that he had. And again, if I'm Dave's and anyone asks me this type of question, you shut it down immediately. There's no need or no reason to answer because the only thing you can do is control you. You can only control what you have purview over right now. And they made decisions. And unfortunately, some of those decisions don't look great right now. But if the decision to reshape this team ultimately pans out so that they're winning games that they're not expecting, that people aren't expecting them to win, that Jackson Dart becomes your franchise quarterback, then all of it becomes worth it. The problem is in the short term, it feels like every single move has been a mistake.
Well, when you win, and if you win, you're right. Like, if the Giants won in week one, I wouldn't be saying any of this. Now, we would think in the back of our mind, wow, DJ played well. Wow, J.J. McCarthy had a great fourth quarter. But it wouldn't be like the rocks that you're putting on a grave. But when you're losing and you're watching everything around you that you once touched get better, that makes you look worse. That's what's going on right now. And some of it is fair and some of it isn't. Like, you went and did a deep dive on Daniel Jones' performance and said, look, guys, he was good.
Right.
He wasn't as good as the numbers say.
Right. Well,
but this stuff adds up.
Yeah, no, I think the ultimate thing is that all of those teams that you're talking about, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that's what the Sterling Shepard, he's down there with Baker Mayfield, the Indianapolis Colts with Daniel Jones, the Philadelphia Eagles with Saquon Barkley. All of those guys, all of those teams have one thing in common. Can you guess what it is?
Go ahead.
A very good, and in some cases, great offensive line. And so Saquon can run for a ridiculous amounts of yards because the offensive line is great. Baker Mayfield can stand in the pocket and not feel rushed because the offensive line is really good. In Indianapolis, they have two of the best players in the game on their offensive line. And so Daniel Jones, while he drops back to pass, whatever it was, 20-something times, 22 times in that game, I don't think he got sacked.
Right.
And so, yes, he's still holding the ball and making delayed decisions, but it's easy because he's not getting his head beat in.
But that would be my follow-up if I'm John Mara. And the reason I bring John Mara up is I believe, despite him having a few more dollars than me, me and him are very similar. We're both fans.
And your fandom.
Yes. And
you're right.
And sometimes as a fan, you can be irrational. And I get that we can try to explain away every situation I brought up and say, well, Sterling Shepard is Baker Mayfield. Well, Daniel Jones has an offensive line. Well, Saquon Barkley's with the Eagles. Well. We can everything. But it adds up. And what it adds up to is that not only do the Giants stink, and it's only 1 week, so things can change, but not only have they stunk, but it feels like the guys who were once a part of it go elsewhere, or the guys you were considering drafting go elsewhere and perform.
Yeah. Well,
and that makes you look worse.
Well, I think a lot, it's because they go to better situations. This is the same conversation that we had last year about Saquon and how Giant fans thought he was this great player here. He had the potential to be a great player here. It was never realized in New York with the Giants because they didn't have the skill set and the talent around him like the Eagles do to allow him to become a great player.
Right.
And if you don't have that, you're not becoming a Hall of Famer when you have a terrible team around you. Derrick Henry, who is now with the Baltimore Ravens, has probably stamped himself in the top 8 running backs in NFL history. And if he keeps playing for a couple more years, he's going to be top 5. And a lot of that is because he went to the Baltimore Ravens for the last 2 years, and they have a dominant offensive front and a dominant scheme because of how their quarterback can manipulate as a 6th skill position guy. And he's going to rush for 1,800 yards again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so all of a sudden, Derrick Henry, who is, he feels like he could be a Hall of Famer, is now, he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
No doubt.
He's going to be one of the best running backs in the history of the game. And a lot of it is because he left a bad or becoming bad situation in Tennessee and came to Baltimore where it's perennially very, very good.
And so, you're saying the Giants are a bad situation?
No, what I'm saying is that the player, because you're talking about the players that have left.
Yes.
You're not talking about the Giants per se right now. We're talking about the players that have left the New York Giants. Almost all of them, whether it's Xavier McKinney going to the Green Bay, like all of them have gone to better situations.
Okay, now,
so what I am saying is that the Indianapolis Colts offensive line, I don't know if it's a better situation, but the Indianapolis Colts offensive line, the Philadelphia Eagles in totality, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers also probably in totality, the Green Bay Packers in totality, they're better situations than the Giants. So
I have an answer to that because I know your job isn't to defend Brian Daboll. In fact, I thought you did a great job getting into him yesterday. So I know you're not being Brian Daboll, but you just explained stuff away. And I'm John Mara, and I'm going to counter you as if you're Brian Daboll. You just said they all went to better situations. Well, Brian, you've been here for 4 years. Why isn't your situation
And by
good?
the way, that's the gripe.
That's the counter.
Forget the Saquon did this, and now he's with the Eagles, and Daniel Jones is now with the Colts, and blah, 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 blah. The question that needs to be answered is, why isn't this situation better?
That's I think the trump card to all of this. Because you're right about those individual situations. We're in year 4. And so if I just called Brian Daboll as owner John Mara, and I listed all these grievances, some of which are unfair, I admit it.
Yep. And
then he counters with, well, guy went here, this guy went there. That'd be my trump card. Mm-hmm. Well, why does your situation stink? You've been here for 4 years.
Right.
And to anyone who thinks that Jackson Dart should have anything to do with Brian Daboll being here long term, let me give you another trump card. Pat Shurmur. Mm-hmm. Because Pat Shurmur was here in Daniel Jones's rookie year, and if you look at Daniel Jones's success and his growth towards the end of the season, especially that Washington game.
Right, in 19.
You looked at Shurmur and said, wow, okay, he's getting something out of the quarterback. So despite all the other issues, let's ignore that because of the quarterback. Clearly, the Giants didn't.
No, you're right.
And they said, hey, despite the growth from a rookie quarterback, we're moving on. So last night, while I was watching a highly entertaining football game that had the result I was rooting for, and I'm watching J.J. McCarthy orchestrate that fourth quarter comeback, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's the new excuse for why you didn't draft him? Because they all add up. Mm-hmm. There's tons of things that just keep flying at you.
Right.
And I don't know how you defend all of it.
Well, I think you just don't try. The only thing you can do if you're Dabes is just focus on what's happening with his team. And until the offensive line becomes consistent and better, and then they get excited about what they're trying to do, we're going to have the same problem over and over and over again. Now, I mentioned this yesterday. I was talking about the Giants' run game and how frustrating it is. It's just a bunch of duo runs. You really don't see anything else. Maybe there's a zone read in there every now and then, but it feels stagnant and extraordinarily predictable. I'm not even going to talk about what they should be doing, but I'm just going to give you an example. So this is a back in my day type thing, but this is back in the early 2000s when Sean Payton was our offensive coordinator and Mike Pope was our tight end coach. And we had all these different, Mouse was our offensive line coach. There was all of this excitement. You could feel it, like our guards and our tackles and the tight ends. Like they loved the idea that we were doing something different, mm-hmm. right? That we were all right. We're going to do bunch formations, and then we're going to run these screw you plays where we come out one way and come back the other way and do scissors and but also run traditional powers and draws. And so because we had this. I'll call it intricate, but it was really just a good game plan. Like these interesting game plans in our run game. We were excited to run them. It wasn't like, all right, you just go beat that dude's ass. You beat that dude's ass, and we'll get 3 yards behind you. That's what I feel like the Giants are stuck in right now. Is where is the innovation and where is the catalyst for excitement for all the guys? Right? The offensive line loved doing the stuff that we did. I loved doing the stuff that we did. Ron Dane loved doing the stuff that we did. Brandon Jacobs, when he came a couple years later, loved doing all that stuff. I can't imagine being a running back in this Giant offense and saying, oh, I can't wait to get side-walloped by trying to run a duo 5 times a game. Like there needs to be some advancement in what they're trying to do.
Well, why is that happening then? Because
I know people will focus on the pass. Oh, it's a passing league. It's a passing league. If you don't have it complemented, you will not be successful. You can have the greatest pass scheme in the history of the NFL. If it's not complemented with something that balances your offense, you will not be successful.
So who do we blame for this then?
I don't know who to blame.
I blame the head coach. And
I mean, ultimately, it goes to the head coach. This is what I see missing. So people keep asking, like, what's wrong with the Giants' offense? I can't keep saying the offensive line over and over and over and over again because, sure, it's the offensive line, but find a way to do what they do best. You know what I mean?
You know what you just did?
Put them in an advantage.
You know what you just did? In a much more intellectual, football-savvy way, you said kind of what I said in that, why is everyone scoring more points on the Giants?
Yeah.
And you broke it down.
Of course.
And so that's the other thing that Brian Daboll would have a tough time answering. Like, I'll ask it in a basic way, how come you scored fewest points in NFL Week 1? And then you lay it out in a much more advanced way. Hey, the play calling is not innovative. The run game is boring. Why? I hired you to be the guy that's taking this to the next level, and it's not happening.
Right.
Why? And I think when you add up all of those whys, some of which you may agree with in the audience, some of which you don't, it becomes almost impossible to defend the current state of this team right now.
Yeah, no, it is, because it almost feels as if you don't have a chance unless something huge happens, unless you get a big play from Malik Neighbors, you get a breakout run, and sometimes that's like accidental. It's not even intentional. And so I think that's where I get frustrated watching this offense, is that greatness comes from specificity, right? It's like no one accidentally is great. No one accidentally turns, it clips off a 70-yard touchdown, or it doesn't accidentally happen. Maybe here and there if you have an elite player who just makes everybody miss, Odell Beckham style every now and then, but you need an intentionality to have success in the, especially now. It is not brute force anymore. There's nuance to how you have to scheme success and then put guys in positions to do their jobs the best that they can. And I just haven't seen that consistently.
Your call's coming up next, 888-808-1019. WFAN NFL Football is powered by Verizon. Before this hour concludes, it's the debut of the hit single that Sean Morash has created. It is not AI. It is real music. I've been told he is singing, and we'll hear that song in the next hour. Joe B will join us at 4 o'clock. And how fearful should Met fans be that they will miss the playoffs?